Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Mickey, put your headset on. It's time for another edition of Mix Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio. Bill Jones along with Savannah Humoller, because we are the ones with our headsets on and prepared for action. Meanwhile, Mickey and the Pro Bowler Everson Walls now have their headsets on.
Ready to go.
And you watched the Pro Bowl yesterday, didn't you?
I must admit I did not.
You don't have to act as if you missed something. You didn't miss a damn thing.
And then I watched the highlights, and I was just telling.
I actually heard good reviews about it.
I just told Savannah I thought I was back in college watching intramural football.
Yeah. It's so.
I only watched 5 minutes of it. So,
I watched about 5 seconds of it.
No, okay, so he's getting ready to dog us out. Right?
Okay.
And I saw D Ware, the Hall of Famer D Ware, on a blocking sled, and two big old offensive linemen were blocking him, and they won. The NFC didn't win the game too, I guess, 64-59.
Now I did watch the skills competition on Thursday.
night.
Yeah,
You liked it?
How was
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
that was entertaining.
It was
I
okay.
think Micah has a future as a quarterback.
Throwing the football. Yeah,
Did he win?
I would like to see him.
Or I just saw one highlight.
I don't know.
On
Yeah,
X.
who's the standout?
Well, Micah had better accuracy than Jalen Hurts, didn't he?
Yeah, Jalen wasn't real good.
That's interesting.
Actually, Mahomes was pretty good.
Mahomes.
Wait, what?
I mean, Mayfield.
Like, man, he was
Duh.
bad?
Baker.
Wow.
That's how good he is. He said, I don't need to worry about
Right,
the
I
Super
could go
Bowl.
to Pro Bowl and Super Bowl.
Mayfield.
Jeez.
CD was good at the dodgeball.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of
they
fact.
play dodgeball?
Oh, yeah.
Everson's like, what is this?
No, it's crazy.
This may come as a shock, but Tyler Smith was good in tug of war.
I missed the tug of war.
I can imagine so. I can
Against
imagine
who,
that.
though? I mean, I'm sure there are other guys.
They had 4 offensive linemen, and the NFC won both matches. It was best of 3.
I did see, I guess, right after the sled drill. Actually, it was like an obstacle course. It was like the old Superstars competition, which,
Yes.
Savannah, you have no idea about because it happened in the 70s. Everson, were you ever in the Superstars competition on
I
ABC?
was.
What is
Were
it?
you really?
Yeah.
Describe it.
Describe it,
Well,
Everson.
no, we went to Hawaii. It was after the Pro Bowl, and we stayed out there another week. And, just did the stuff. We had to roll. We had to play volleyball, water volleyball. And
But an obstacle course where you climb a rope and then
I
go
don't
over the
recall
wall
that
or whatever.
one. I
Okay.
don't
You know what I
recall that
remember?
one.
The swimming part, and I'd never
Yeah.
seen more guys ready to drown in
That
my
was me.
life.
I was one of them. I was like,
Swimming?
It was like a-
halfway out of the water.
It was triathlon.
You have to do a lap.
It was like a decathlon
But this-
with players.
Yeah.
The old
Yeah.
Superstars
But it was
competition.
different
It was,
events.
but they. It
That's
was,
right. I keep forgetting she's so young.
Yeah, the Superstars
they
was
do this
on
all the time.
ABC, and it was like every Saturday afternoon, the Superstars competition, and it wasn't just football players; it was athletes from
Okay.
different sports, and they'd compete against each other in like an obstacle course.
That's
but
true.
they probably had a Pro Bowl
At this
edition
time,
of
it was a Pro Bowl edition. Yeah,
right.
we didn't have other guys from other sports, so we were playing, like I said, water volleyball. We did. It was somebody put it on
like
Twitter one time.
an obstacle
I don't
course?
recall an
You don't
obstacle
remember?
course.
thought
I don't recall
probably
us
had a different
chase. I
course
don't recall us
because-
racing like 40-yard dashes. I don't think we did any of that.
Which, by the way,
What
Just
happened
kinda like
one time?
games and
What
fun.
happened one time? We got there and the waves were 25 feet high.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we didn't do jack that day. of
Surfing
course.
competition. That would have been good.
No, that would
They
not have been
have,
good.
bar fight competition.
That would not have been good. First of all, there's a lot of black guys out there, so we're
did
not
they-
going to be out there in the damn ocean trying to swim around in 25-foot waves.
Well, I
There's
remember
no
him-
way
I
to
They
remember
have
him.
bar fight competition
no bar fight
because
competition.
Randy White would have won that.
No, I was going to say nothing sanctioned. We probably had some things, extracurricular
Randy.
activities, but nothing sanctioned. Let me
maybe
say
that's
that.
why I was so ready for this. One night I woke up and I had dreamed I was walking off the field with Everson Walls, and he had just won a sprint competition.
No, but you were dreaming. I never win sprint competitions. But
and then maybe on Friday, I dreamed that I was late for the show and Bill would not start the show until I got here.
You know what? That is a common nightmare for a sportscaster.
You're going to miss your show, yeah.
Exactly. That you're racing and everything gets in your way and you haven't written anything and then all of a sudden you look up, it's 10:20 and you're racing and you can't get there and then it's like you're at home and you're
way
awful.
past us because mine was always about missing a test.
Oh, that was me
Yeah,
for a
missing
long
a class.
time.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I got a final and I didn't go to this class all year long.
Oh, I tell you, it was really weird.
Finals.
I've
I
had
love
dreams
that
of
one.
missing my urinalysis. Yeah, because that's kind of crazy.
Because that's failed if
That's
you miss.
failed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had dreams of missing that for a long time. I really had dreams of missing that. I get up late at night and be like, okay, wait a minute. Where am I? Wake up.
Mine's just generic. It's like if I am going to miss a flight. That's
Yeah.
what I get
Oh,
stressed
yeah.
about. Like,
Yeah.
I have to be up at a certain hour, and I'm up hours and hours if it's an early
And you just
flight.
can't get packed.
No, and you're throwing things in the bag. Did I forget anything out the door? You know.
Okay, well, there's that. And now let's move on to, is the new defensive coordinator in the building?
Possibly.
Might be in the building. So you saw Bill Belichick in the building.
Did not see Bill Belichick in the building, but Jerry Jones said that the interviews would start at 9 o'clock this morning.
Who do we have on deck?
That was
Mickey?
before
Who's on
we
tap?
all learned that Joe Witt Jr. is going with Dan Quinn.
I don't think we needed to learn
Washington.
that. That was no revelation. That was going to happen. Because, look at it this way. Even if they were going to interview him here for the job, and now you guys all tell me common sense, are you going to take the job with the head guy that's got 1 year left on his contract, or are you going to go with the guy that's got 5 years left on his contract? I think it was probably a no-brainer on his part. Even though he had worked all those years for Mike, he did work in that same capacity with Dan in Atlanta for, what, a year or two, maybe? So I just assumed that was done deal.
Right.
Now, the question is for him, is Dan Quinn running the defense? And is he going to be the Brian Schottenheimer of the defense? Or is he going to get to do it? Because for his sake, I'm hoping he gets the opportunity to do it, to further his career and not have everybody say, well, yeah, he's the defensive coordinator, but Dan Quinn's running it. Which, by the way, were you the one that X'd it out, however you're supposed to say it now? Dan Quinn's arrival in Washington today for first day of work.
Yeah.
And they had a reception. I mean, everybody stood there online and clapping as he walked in the building.
Adam Peters, the GM, was in that group, and so they arranged it when Dan Quinn, with his baseball cap turned around backwards, walked in to the offices.
Backpack on.
Yeah.
Did he know that?
Front office personnel.
Did you think he knew that?
No, I don't think so. I think
No,
he
it was a surprise, and so they all gave him a standing ovation as he walked in.
So
the
when
door.
he went and said, hug the guy, the tall guy, Doug, that wasn't Doug Williams.
I don't think it was Doug Williams.
But there was some guy named Doug he recognized. And
But
hugged.
Doug is in the.
Maybe it
Well,
was
I
Doug
know,
Williams.
but it didn't
I
look-
need to look at the video and see
It
again.
didn't look like him. But anyway, yeah, he was, okay, guys, hey, let's go to work.
And then Cliff Kingsbury for the offensive coordinator. So, little move there, too.
And Bill had a good
And who did
tie in there last
He was
night.
the Cardinals head coach.
Where's he
Cliff
going
Kingsbury.
now?
He's going to Washington.
Yes.
He
so
turned down-
He'll be the offensive
he
coordinator.
turned down the Raiders job after he accepted it.
Wow.
So it was Thursday. It all came down. That was Thursday. Okay, so Quinn got the Washington job on Wednesday.
No, Thursday or Friday.
It was before the Kingsbury thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Kingsbury on Thursday night, reports came out that, okay, he is going to Vegas. He's agreed to a deal with Vegas. Well, then Friday
He's going to
morning,
be the OC.
going to be the OC
Under Pierce.
with Las Vegas.
Under
yes,
Pierce.
with Antonio Pierce there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then all of a sudden on Friday, things fell through at the last minute. And then by Sunday, Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the offensive coordinator for Dan Quinn's Washington Commanders. And so, there were conversations. And when Dan Quinn goes to Washington and interviews for the job,
He
he's
had to
telling
know.
them
Yes.
what his plan is.
Yeah.
And so he's had conversations with Kingsbury before.
Okay.
Well, Kingsbury, all right, Quinn gets the Washington job, and then, but Kingsbury's also talking to Las Vegas. He had also talked to Chicago. And so push comes to shove there. Okay, Quinn gets hired, and then, remember I told you Kingsbury's the guy I want? He's about to go sign with Vegas.
Yeah.
So they up the ante or whatever.
So you don't
Yeah,
think there was any
absolutely.
falling out between he and Pierce's group?
I don't think
No.
so.
It was just he wanted to be.
The way it
And-
came out was the way they couched it was
It fell
Kingsbury wanted a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
They were only offering a 2-year contract.
fell
Who knows
through,
if that is
it
true or
seemed.
not?
Right,
But
right.
But then the other part of it is who's got the second pick in the draft?
This is why I made it my lead story last night
Yes.
on my sportscast. Is that came down about 8:00 last night, and the first thing I thought of was, this is the lead material because this affects the Cowboys. Washington's got the second pick. Kingsbury was on the staff at USC last year. Chicago did not hire Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator, which would have been a no-brainer with Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, being the number one pick in the
Rejected
draft.
number one pick.
Yeah. They did not hire Kingsbury, Chicago's got a decision to make whether they keep Justin Fields or peddle that pick and take Caleb Williams. I'm thinking Chicago, I'm just speculating here, that Chicago has decided they're keeping Fields. They're going to trade out Washington. They're hiring Kingsbury, who was with Caleb Williams for a year. They trade up to number 1. Chicago trades down to 2. And then Chicago can trade again. And so they'll collect a whole bunch of draft picks this way.
You agree, Spags?
And
I think-
Washington takes Caleb Williams.
Right. And Caleb Williams is from Washington. That's his hometown. I mean, it just makes all the
It
sense in the
fits.
world.
It's very
Yeah.
fitting.
So,
Absolutely.
So this
He's
is
from
a
D.C.?
yes.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I thought he was a Cali boy.
Till
No,
I read it.
He's from D.C.
Yeah. So the other part of it, and I wrote about it on Friday, is that now the Cowboys got to play 4 games against 2 coaches that know them intimately, right? Dan Quinn, now with Witt, and Kellen Moore. And who knows Dak Prescott better than those 3 guys. So makes it a little bit more complicated going forward.
Definitely more,
Now,
definitely
obviously,
more interesting.
obviously
because
the-
we know them as well.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
was going to say, and they know what those guys like to do
Right.
also. But the fact that it was like my first line was, if you can't beat them, join them.
Right.
Or get them to join you,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah. So that's another little nugget there going forward.
It just makes things more intriguing. I wouldn't stress over it. You know, it's just a nice little story for you guys you can write.
That's right.
Yeah. Make it interesting.
I think that is Doug Williams. I just saw the video.
Was it?
Probably is Doug,
gonna-
yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
he said
I'm gonna
Doug.
let, I'm going to let Everson look at it during the break. How about we? No, we're early.
Oh,
we're
by-
an hour
We are
now.
early.
No,
Yeah.
let's
we're good.
continue on.
Okay.
It's either in the regular season we got a 45-minute show, so we take a break at like 15 after.
Although I have to be out by 12:45, so you guys can go to 1.
12:45.
I mean
But it's mixed
11:45.
shots.
Yeah, 11:40. I know.
Right.
I got
And
something.
then
I
you didn't
gotta
even
do.
What
tell
we
us
gonna
that
call
you-
the last-
we didn't give a heads up. You
I
didn't
was
give a
getting
heads
ready to, but everybody walked in at the last minute. And it's like, oh, put your headset on. Let's go.
up. I'm going to make as much out of this as possible for the times that I do you guys the same way. So, yeah. Oh, that's definitely
Yeah.
Doug Williams.
That's
yeah.
Doug?
Yeah. How do you not know that's Doug?
He looked skinny. He looked thin.
Yeah, he might be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't he?
I think he's a lot of hair. He's let
From
his hair
last
grow.
time I saw
I think he's
him.
gonna let his hair grow. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is.
All right.
He's trying to look younger.
So he showed
Tall,
up. for
good-looking
this.
black man, wasn't he?
Gosh.
Looked like Doug Williams to me.
He didn't want to be, yeah.
And by the way, where were you guys when we were doing our East-West Shrine work here?
I was there.
That's why I said
I went to the
Savannah
game.
and I.
How'd you like it?
It was good.
It was really cool. It was a really cool event. They did great. Big setup. The crowd was huge. There were so many people that showed up for
Wow.
the game. It was really cool to
My
see
daughter
those guys
teased
do
me. She
play.
asked me, why am I not here?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did tease me.
Should have been scouting.
I know. I was on the field. I ran into Randy White, said hi to him. Drew Pearson was down there.
Nice.
A few other guys. A bunch of the current players, they were out there watching the game, too, on the sidelines. So it was cool to see all these guys play.
And we were even there on Wednesday for the Hall of Fame announcement for the East-West Shrine game.
Okay.
Steve Smith Sr. and Steve Sarkeesian.
Steve Smith, he's been up for a while, right? Steve Smith?
No, the East-West Hall of Fame.
Ah, okay. Excellent.
Which he had a good story because he wasn't invited. And he wasn't invited to the Senior Bowl. And at the last minute, somebody pulled out of the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine game. Yeah. And Gil Brandt gives him a call and says, hey, do you want to participate in the Shrine Bowl? And he said, that's how I got my opportunity. And I think he ended up being the MVP of the game.
He was really emotional when he was telling that story as
Was he
well.
really?
It meant a lot to him.
Yeah,
just
he's
to
an
get that
emotional guy,
call
though.
from Gil Brandt and then be invited to that and then a full circle moment coming back to this game.
That's nice.
And being there.
And then
So,
get drafted. So he figured, what he showed in that game certainly
That was a moment
springboarded
for him.
his
That was a
career.
moment for him, huh?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was nice.
Any fond memories of your college all-star games that you played in, Everson?
Nah, shut those fools down. That's about it. We were.
What did you play in?
I played in the Black College All-Star game. It was like only the second one. We played in Jackson, Mississippi. It was a bunch of people there, like 1,700 people. And that was
You
it.
mean watching?
Watching. No, I mean, they were at the game.
Okay.
It was
Spectators.
1,700 spectators. I think it was more scouts and coaches than it was anything. People's families. It wasn't much.
Did you play at the
going
stadium?
on. Played at Jackson
Did you play
Memorial
at
Stadium.
Yeah.
And Gil Brandt, of course, was there. And yeah, got out there, and it was freezing cold in Jackson, Mississippi. And we won the game, but it was just one more step trying to get there. There wasn't much you could say about it. Just, a bunch of brothers out there running around trying to be seen and be picked. So yeah, I played a good game. But I mean, when it came to the whole college experience, I don't think I was necessarily challenged that much, not even in the All-Star game. It didn't really get interesting till I got here. That's when things got really sticky. But the All-Star game, it was, it was Bush League. Let's just call it what it was. But you got guys there, all of us, trying to just get a pick. I think I was the best guy in the stadium that time, and hell, I went undrafted. So it wasn't like it was.
Any other names from that game that we would know?
I don't think you would.
Okay.
I don't think you would. I remember Larry Farmer, safety from Mississippi Valley. You had some Alcorn boys that were there. Wally Wright, a wide receiver, they didn't make it either, but he was a lot of fun to hang out with. We had a lot of fun that weekend in Jackson. So much fun. Gil had to squash some stuff. That was Gil's thing. If something went down,
He was the
Gil's
fixer.
gonna be there. Hey, you take that, sir, officer. You take that, and see you later. And that was interesting. Yeah, the night before the game, that was interesting. They had some issue, and Gil came in and made it all disappear. Poof, it was gone.
So
That's your boy. That's your hero.
in the in the game on
The East-West
Thursday
Shrine
night,
Bowl.
yeah,
Okay.
Frank Gore Jr. He's pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty small, but boy can he scoot. He is fast.
Where did he play?
Running back,
Where? What college?
Southern Miss.
I don't want to. Yeah, Southern Mississippi. Yeah.
I wanted to wait to see if you had it.
I had it.
He's the one that
it's
covered
right
it.
here. He's got a star
He's
next to
bragging about it. Oh, why weren't Joel out there?
Got a touchdown.
Was he on the East or West team?
He was on the West team.
Okay. Yes, I think
You
I
remember
remember
him?
seeing him. Yes.
With Tua's brother at quarterback, who's pretty good, but
From
he's
Maryland.
also
From
pretty
Maryland.
small.
Short, yeah.
Maryland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's short.
Is he short? I met both of them. Is he? I can't remember. He's shorter than Tua.
He's
Yeah.
pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their whole family came to the Black College Hall of Fame banquet. The entire family. Mm-hmm. And their sister, major Cowboy fan. The baby sister is a major
Really?
Cowboy. I couldn't shake her. I was the only Cowboy there. I couldn't shake her. All she wanted was autographs and pictures. So they have a very cool family. We met the entire mom and dad. Met the entire family.
The other interesting story at that game, the cornerback, Quantez Stiggers, he didn't go to college. He was in with the Toronto Argonauts. Mm-hmm. And he made plays on 2 of the first 3 snaps of the game, including making the tackle on the kickoff. And then 2 plays later, he almost intercepted a pass when he broke it up. Mm-hmm. And then he pulled either a ham or a groin, and he didn't play anymore. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the coaches thought, okay, people know about him. We don't need to put him out there. But he got hurt. But he looked pretty good.
How old is he? Is he
22 years old.
okay?
6 foot 197. He did not go to college. He went to he was a freshman at Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. His father's death caused him to enter into a significant depression, according to his Wikipedia page, that resulted in him dropping out despite being on a scholarship. He then didn't go back to college. He was in that fan-controlled football league, that live streaming indoor football league that Cavante, I think, played in that.
Uh-huh.
And then he went to the CFL Toronto Argonauts last year.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love.
I think
He
stories.
was
I love
voted the
stories like
CFL's
that,
most
man.
outstanding rookie.
He looked good. He looked good. You know, and they only had 1 kickoff because after that it was put the ball 25-yard line.
Okay.
Yeah, but he knew what he was doing.
That's good.
So
All right.
interesting.
We're going to take a break here because Mickey's got to get out of here early here in 23 minutes.
You
from
guys do
now.
not have to get out early.
We'll see about that. We'll see if you're going to pay us more to stay.
That's right.
That'll be the key of whether
Why
we
you
stay or
double
not.
dip over there? You double dip.
And we'll be back in a
busy
moment
man.
here on Mick Shots.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. Mickey was at a big announcement yesterday, and I have questions about it, but AT&T Stadium will be hosting 9 World Cup matches in 2026, including a semifinal match on July 14th. Mickey, how was the event?
You know what? It was pretty good. They had, a bunch of the mayors from the surrounding area there. Emmett, Dirk, Marty Turco were there. But yeah, you know what? There was initial disappointment that they didn't get the final. But the fact that they got 9 games, and actually 5 of them technically will be knockout games because they've got 5 games in the first round that are going to be here. But they also, the 5th of those 5 is the last of the round robin in the groups. So that generally is going to decide who gets in and who doesn't. And then they've got quarterfinal games.
I heard they had one semifinal.
And they get the semifinal game. But they get knockout games. So they're going to be really important. So 9 games here, as Jerry said, that's like having 9 Super Bowls.
It's the most than any other of the host venues.
So what's the difference between coverage between the expense of the game, or how can I put this? What's the value of all of those games versus having the game?
So the final is going to be at MetLife Stadium in New York.
Except they can't call the stadiums by their sponsor name.
True, they have to change the name.
AT&T Stadium, you know what it's going to be called for that month? Dallas Stadium.
Dallas Stadium.
It's not even in Dallas. Right? No. It's crazy. It's not.
Why can't we call it Arlington Stadium? Like in tribute to the World Series champion Texas Rangers who played in Arlington
probably
Stadium
because they're not going to call MetLife East Rutherford Stadium.
What are they calling it?
Well, it'll be Jersey.
They're going to call it New York, New Jersey Stadium.
That's what they're going to call it.
That's what they call it.
We don't know yet.
When they awarded it, they said it goes to New York, New Jersey.
Okay.
I thought New York was in New York.
Hey, don't get me started. That's why I haven't gone to a Super Bowl parade yet, because they're always fussing about New Jersey, New York. Which one's going to pay for it?
So the Cowboys, AT&T gets 2 games in the round of 32. So after the first cut. And then they get 1 game in the round of 16, and then the semifinal game. So
my question was
yes.
the value of those games versus the value of the championship
I
game.
think getting 9 games here as opposed to, say, 6 and the final is pretty big.
He's avoiding your question.
No, it's pretty big.
I feel like
no, they wanted the final.
And my thing is,
it's disappointing
why
we
would you
don't
want
have
the
it,
final versus the 9, right?
Right.
You're still going to get a lot of eyes like at Dallas
it's like
Stadium.
9 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
It's like 9 Super Bowls versus 1 Super Bowl? Or am I being naive about that championship?
I mean, that'll be like
round?
the big game, obviously, but having 9, you're going to, there's a lot of value in that, especially having it over any more host cities.
So there's more financial value in, well, we won't say more. There's a lot of financial value for the 9 games. But so the 1 game, would that value, does it equal or surpass? That's my point.
It could. It depends. I mean, it depends, I think, who's playing in it.
All right.
Well, look at it this way. 9 games, that means you got 18 teams coming here.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at this as a glass half full thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to look at it.
And here's
but
the
they
other.
were so disappointed that they didn't get the championship.
Well, and here's what happened. Think about it. If you live in
Europe,
Denmark,
wherever,
whoever else has a team somewhere, Sweden.
New York is closer.
Ecuador.
What do people identify with in the United States? New York?
Of course.
Or L.A.?
Yeah.
Right? They don't think of Dallas.
We've been trying to change that for decades.
Right.
And since the 80s, since the TV show.
And as Jerry properly pointed out, he said it's the international perception of the United States.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And no one thinks of Dallas. They think of New York and all the stars in L.A.
But when you talk about soccer, we're talking soccer here, right?
I know.
Down south, it's a lot of soccer players down there in Ecuador and
Brazil.
They're right down. They're right down there.
Mexico.
They're right there.
That's why the first game is being played in Mexico.
I'm saying,
City.
I'm saying Dallas is a nice fit,
right?
Considering you have so many great players, Latin American players from down south, right there. So we're closer to them than them going to New York or LA for that matter.
Here's the other thing they're hoping for. Is they've got to have a staging area for the officials, and they're hoping they'll put it here in North Texas, because then you can fly all over.
We're more central. We're still central, I think. We're still
They're
central.
also hoping that several of the international teams will have this as their home base because of all the different areas they can practice in, including the 2 stadiums in Arlington, everything Frisco has.
Frisco.
That's right, and also.
You think team will be training out of here?
I bet. Don't you think?
That'd be awesome.
It's in.
You might as well.
Mini camp will be over. Cowboys will schedule their mini camp around the World Cup.
Second week of June.
You still call it mini camps?
Well, there is a mini camp.
Is it mini camp?
Yeah.
I thought it was all OTAs. I thought they
There's OTAs, and then there's a mandatory mini camp that's about June 10th usually.
Okay.
But you got Toyota.
The first game is June 14th here, and so it's free. June 14th through July 14th is when these games are played, and so whoever wants to.
Because if you're
house their team right
you
here.
got to house your team somewhere. You're not going back home, right, and then come back 3 or 4 days later.
Okay, once again,
Put it on the calendar.
one more naive question. So, New York, New Jersey got the championship game or round?
No, game.
Just one game.
Well, they got the other 5 or 6
but
or
they
7.
got other matches too.
Yeah,
leading up to that.
Yeah.
But they get those as well as the championship.
You asked the question that has not been answered by the rest of the panel that I'm going to answer for you. I felt like I was watching a political debate. Mickey was dodging the answer.
There was no dodging.
Okay, FIFA has claimed that around 1.5 billion people watched the 2022 World Cup final live on television.
Okay.
1.5 billion people worldwide, and they had almost 6 billion engagements on social media, almost as much as Mick shots. To put a global TV audience of 1.5 billion into perspective, Super Bowl 56 that year was watched live by fewer than 200 million people worldwide. So we're talking for the final, 1.5 billion people worldwide, as opposed to the Super Bowl was less than 200 million people worldwide.
Gotcha.
Now, I haven't had time to look up what the semifinals got, but I would imagine that's the difference in hosting the final rather than, let's say, even you take away 500 million people. Or you got 2 semifinals.
So no one cares about the semifinal?
Well, I'm sure they do. But I don't think it'll match the 2 billion, you said?
1.5 billion.
So how many languages do they broadcast the game in?
1.5 billion languages.
Because part of what they did yesterday, they interviewed some people that just spoke Spanish, and they didn't have a translator. It was like, okay, this is really good.
Seems like that's the.
So you guys didn't watch this on TV, I take.
I watched it. I wasn't listening though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I read about it, but that was pretty much it.
I had my friend Larry Lundy. He's a marketing guy. They interviewed him on CBS. And you know, he explained it very well. The way you explained it. Yeah. The way you explained it. The way he explained it. But I'm still thinking, as the way he put it, 9 Super Bowls for the second place. Second place still gets 9 Super Bowls. And so I was trying to see if it could. Those 9 still don't compare to that 1.5 billion.
But
I bet it will.
If you,
I'm waiting on proof. There you go. I'm
so what we
throwing it
need
out
to do
there.
at the end of it, we'll need to add up the viewership. We're going to add up the viewership for all 9 matches.
We may need to come back to this next week, and we'll have a little bit more concrete numbers and statistics and everything.
Then again,
Mickey and I will look it up.
Then again, we don't have to do that.
True.
Well, we're going to talk about it because it's
when
going to
we come back here on Mick Shots.
Let's hope we're still doing Mick Shots in 2 years.
I want to talk defensive coordinators.
Yes,
when we come back here on
We
Mick
forgot about
Shots.
that before Mickey has to leave.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Did you know that responding to one spam call can lead to more? Or that the IRS would never ask for your social security number on the phone? Beat scammers at their own game by subscribing to AARP Fraud Watch Network alerts and texts. At aarp.org/beatscammerstx, you can sign up to receive information that helps you recognize and avoid the latest scams. That's aarp.org/beatscammerstx.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
The CONCACAF Nations League finals are coming to AT&T Stadium. Don't miss your chance to watch North America's best soccer teams battle it out in the semifinals on March 21st. Then see who lifts the trophy in the championship on March 24th. Tickets are available at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
All right. Speaking of that other kind of football.
Boy, they sure said football about 30 times during that broadcast.
Let's talk football defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Okay. What's been reported out there?
It's been reported that the Cowboys will interview Ron Rivera and Mike Zimmer for starters.
And it's been reported that Adden Dirty
is
also a defensive line coach.
Yeah.
She's getting an interview as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who do I want? Is that what you're going to ask?
Yeah. We just wanted you to say it. We didn't have to ask.
I think I may have already said who I wanted.
Who'd you say?
Well, I brought his name up when his name wasn't being mentioned, and now it's being mentioned.
Zimmer?
It's Mike Zimmer.
Mm-hmm. I figured you go old school.
That's who I want to.
I figured you go old school.
Although I like Ron Rivera, too.
Yeah.
Now, he was a good defensive coordinator. Good coach.
The Bears in the Super Bowl in 2006. Played for Buddy Ryan.
You meant as a player.
Mm-hmm.
No, in 2006 he was a defensive coordinator for the Bears when they went to the Super Bowl.
Well, Buddy Ryan was the defensive coordinator, wasn't he?
Not in 2006.
06.
When Rex Grossman got the Bears into the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And Ron Rivera played for the Bears under Buddy.
I don't know enough about Rivera. I know a lot about Mike Zimmer. And I think what this defense needs now is a no-nonsense hard-ass to be running that defense.
Who do you think would fit that best
Mike
of those
Zimmer.
three candidates?
Mike Zimmer. And like I said, I don't know about Rivera. Dirty. It's hard to change the perception within the organization that, well, this is the defensive line coach, right? Now you're in charge of the whole thing. Now, I think he's capable of it, but I think they need somebody else to come in here and sort of run roughshod over this team, especially on defense, especially a couple players that I think need it.
And they need it, and that's a good thing because that means that they have the potential to elevate themselves.
Right.
All they need is a push.
I think that, and one of the things they're going to have to decide, and this may not go over well, you got to pick up Micah's fifth-year option. And the fifth-year option value, I mean, from a financial standpoint, is by position. Now, which position do you think Michael wants to be identified with?
Here we go.
We know we need to define that position.
Just for next year even, not just for his contract situation. I'd like to be defined as far as his role on the defense.
Right.
What position is he going to play?
And you know what he wants.
What does he want?
Well, he probably wants defensive end because they get paid more than a linebacker.
Okay.
But if you look at the depth chart and how they list them and everything here, it says LB on it.
What's that, Samantha?
I like Zimmer based on things that he has done with the Vikings. And he is familiar here with the Cowboys. He was an assistant coach from 1994 to 2006. And then his time with the Vikings made it to 3 postseasons. Overall, 72 wins, 56 losses in his time with the Vikings. So I think he would be a very good fit considering he has been familiar with the Cowboys before. He understands the brand, and he understands what is at stake for this team.
That sounds good to me. It really does. But what my cautionary tale would be, you've got so many young guys now in the league. And is a guy like Zimmer outdated? Is a guy like Rivera, is he outdated? Because this year we needed some more youthful ideas defensively on how we should run this team and how we could be more successful. I mean, if the young guys can, feel they can give the respect to Zimmer that he deserves, or Rivera that he deserves, then that's great. But whatever it takes to make these guys understand the sense of urgency at times, you do need someone that's firm, but is there an age gap that we're dealing with here? I was thinking, I know you've got some great defensive coordinators that are of age. They're up there. Spagnola's one of them, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So he does well with KC. He's improved that defense under Patrick Mahomes. So, do you need to go with a guy of age, or maybe someone who's younger and maybe has some more fresh ideas?
But if you're going younger, you're going with someone that's never done the job before.
But could be still innovative. You're right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But, might need a little bit better innovation around here as opposed to the same. And I'm not saying that's what these guys will do. But the scenario, the worst case scenario is they come in with outdated ideas. That's the worst case scenario.
You need something new, fresh.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe.
He was pretty good in Cincinnati as the defensive coordinator. And I would imagine he was running that Minnesota defense, even though he was the head coach.
They were 3 years into it. They had the number 1 defense in the league in Minnesota.
Right. So who do you want?
Zimmer is a guy that I like. I like Rivera too. I hate to straddle the fence on it, but I'll take Belichick.
I knew that was coming.
On that note, Spaz, you might be time for you to get out
Time to
of
go.
You played for him.
I know, but he's not coming here. He's not going to come here and deal with Jerry Jones, man.
Why not?
Jerry said he could work with him.
He's got 2 sons that were on his staff.
And this is something we haven't talked about. This is something we have not talked about here, and I guess because we're here. But, man, these guys it's coaches that don't want to come in here Okay, simply because of the man that I'm not gonna say upstairs because he's not that damn strong, but he's close. But you know,
he's only coming in as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you say that.
How did you get along with Parcells?
For some reason, and you hear it. I know you've heard it from some of the guys on TV. They're like, man, the main problem goes far beyond the field, and so that's why coaches are having problems coming in here. You know what I'm talking about. So you guys looking at me like I'm crazy. Savannah's not, but you two are. Don't give me that evil eye, okay? I'm just saying that's the narrative that's out there, and so when you bring in someone. You know you don't just have to deal with the head coach. You have to deal with that guy as well.
But he's the coordinator.
I know, but I'm telling you why coaches don't want to come in, and I know you've heard the narrative.
It's a team effort. So, there's a lot that
you can talk team all you want. Only
one
man makes decisions around here. You can talk team all you want. Only one man makes a decision around here. And that, according to these experts out there, not me.
Because they don't know.
Not me, in case you're listening.
They don't know. They don't know.
No, these are guys that have come from this organization that speak the same language.
They have that perception.
They do.
But
the perception was there when they were there. It wasn't perception. It was reality.
They have not been here in 10 years.
Okay.
Did we already take our breaks?
Yes, we did.
We already took our breaks, so we don't have a time.
We're just giving.
We need to talk about.
We
need to talk about the Super Bowl.
I'll give you 4 more minutes.
4 minutes.
That's right. We got
4
to talk
minutes.
about
Let's
Super
talk about the
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
My bad.
Great.
Did you know Steve Spagnuolo was a Rhodes Scholar? I
That's
heard
his
that
cousin.
last
Of
week.
course
We have very smart people in our family.
All right. So, what do y'all think about the Super Bowl?
Well, the teams landed in Vegas last night, so they're gearing up.
Beautiful accommodations, though. Have you seen it? They're not staying on the Strip. They're staying like somewhere that's really...
No, the teams are 30-minute drive away.
But it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Now the media center is at the Luxor. So
what?
Yeah,
that's
not a good hotel.
Nah, it's not.
That's why the media's there.
That's why the media's there.
I can't believe they put you guys there. That's where they put the families. That's where they put the families.
I did the NFL draft in Vegas a few years ago. I was out there for it, and I thought it was incredible. And so I can't even imagine just how crazy it's going to be this weekend. It was already, this is just a next level event. First ever Super Bowl in Vegas. It's going to be
Vegas is moving on up. Vegas is moving on up. That's going to be our biggest competition. If you're talking Dallas versus Vegas, and I mean as far as, being attractive events, attracting events to us.
Well,
Vegas is on the come up.
Vegas is on the come up.
Yeah.
How often is Vegas going to get a Super Bowl?
Hey, if they do it right, they'll be like New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's in New Orleans next year.
It'll be
again.
When's Jerry going to get back in the hunt?
I don't think it can be before 2020, 28 maybe. 30?
Yeah, because they're already
30?
given out for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
or 3 or 4 years.
Well, maybe if
get past this World. That was what I was asking last night. Okay, you get the World Cup, and you got 9 Super Bowls that you're hosting that summer. Then that'll make 10 total, including the one that they had. So that he'll go for his 11th Super Bowl in about 20,
and they can prove that
30.
they can play the Super Bowl on grass because they're going to play all 9 of these games on grass.
Okay.
Who do you want?
Pick to click, right? I mean, you got.
Should we do our prediction?
At the beginning of the season, I picked San Francisco to win it all. So do you think I ought to stick with San Francisco or go with the guy
I think
that
you
I think is going to win?
I think you should. I disagree with you, but I think you should.
I think Kansas City's going to win, but I'm going to stick with San Francisco as my pick. So
I think Casey's
cover
going to
myself.
win. I think Casey's going to win. I think Casey's going to win. I think
because of the quarterback.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
They're going to win because of the defensive coordinator.
I don't think it's a high-scoring game.
I got the Niners.
You do?
I'm going Niners.
Okay, so we're together.
Purdy showed you something? Purdy showed you something?
I think he might just show up on
He showed
Sunday,
up. He's
maybe.
been showing up.
Yeah.
Everyone said he couldn't win from behind these last 2 games. He's done
exactly.
it.
So
this
I think
might
it's
be his
for
time.
them. Exactly.
But he didn't play as well coming from behind, though.
But
except for that last drive.
When you look at just the finality of the game, did he pull it out and make the plays when he was supposed to?
Yes.
But I'm still not going for him.
So which team is better? Take the quarterback out of the equation, and which team is better?
More talented?
I think KC's.
Which team is better?
I think KC's deep. The
got the best
surgeons of their defense coming up.
Yep.
I think their defense is very good. Very.
Why
good.
is their defense good?
It seems like their secondary started showing up.
You know what? I heard an interview with Spagnuolo. This is when I've discovered that he was a Rhodes Scholar. He didn't say that, but someone else said it about him. And but he was talking about how smart his players are. He loves this group because there's so many things that they can do defensively because
every group,
they've got smart players
yeah.
who understand. Like that Justin Reed's a Stanford guy, and you saw how they used him.
That's why that secondary has elevated because of him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's my opinion.
Remember, he's been there before with the Giants.
Did not know
defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing with Quinn's Seattle defense back 10 years ago because they had smart guys back there.
In the secondary. Yeah. You got to have guys in the back that know what they're doing. Yeah, they make the final decision back here. You got great linebackers, linemen, I get it. But these guys back here, they're the ones that stop the touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you know.
Like a true Pro Bowl cornerback.
But I like San Fran's other offensive players, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I mean,
I know.
It's tough looking at those guys, and I don't know. I think that they can hold up against.
I love this
Casey's
Well
defense.
said.
But Travis Kelce's on a roll, so.
Well,
hey, so is Kittle.
After last,
so is Kittle.
What about
no? After
Swift
last night.
Oh. Was he there?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe
surprisingly.
They were landing in Vegas, I think they said at like 6 o'clock or so.
He couldn't get on it. He was at the airport. He could have just got
gone right over, right?
Oh,
all right, you're out of time, Mickey.
I know. I do need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So we got 2 Kansas Cities and 2
San Franciscos.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll be breaking it down next Monday at 11 a.m. here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!